Great. Welcome to the Hollow Bone with Phoenix. If you're new to this, being the Hollow Bone is being a channel or a conduit for Source to come through with messages and healing and even miracles. And each week on this show, you can expect to hear live channelings that open your heart and lift your energy, or conversations with visionary leaders that are walking their own path of alignment, or healing transmissions that flow directly from Source through the hollow bone. So whether you tune in live or listen to the archives, every episode is a chance to receive guidance, expand your awareness, and align more fully with the miracles waiting for you. Today's visionary leader is Barb Rebon, dedicated teacher and author of The Heartbeat of My Silence. Her book's dedication is this: to the children, adolescents, and young adults who feel voiceless, who endure unspeakable pain and quiet struggles within their hearts. I was you. Barb is a survivor, and her story is one of hope, healing, and transformation. So welcome, Barb.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you giving me this opportunity to be here and to share my story with your audience.
Well, it's a powerful story, and you've kept silent for a long time and have now decided you can't be silent anymore. So thank you for helping so many people to recognize that within themselves.
I certainly do hope that breaking my silence will help others that have experienced similar circumstances or who perhaps are going through it in this very moment.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes. And I know you focused on young children because they feel so incapable of having a voice. They don't even know they have a voice. But I think many adults are like that as well, don't you?
Yes. And I suppose I dedicated it to children because I thought for myself, I was one of those kids.
Mhm.
And as a teacher, I see so many of those kids in my classroom.
Yeah.
And that's why I felt a need to dedicate it to those kids. And even some of those kids may be adults now,
Right.
as I was one of those kids and had no idea that I was living with trauma or the impact that some of those experiences had on me. I didn't know that until decades later.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just think it's normal. I mean, we don't have any other definition. So it's like, well, doesn't everybody go through this?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's not an adult present to show you otherwise,
Right.
then you pretty much just keep on living and you just keep on going on with life,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically what I did as a child.
You did and you didn't. What fascinated me was at such a young age, you had this affinity to the service of the Catholic Church and wanting to be a part of that and the peace and the serenity that it offered you. But you were so young when you knew that. That was like your refuge. And that was surprising to me because you didn't grow up with that.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from other than from a divine source.
Absolutely.
Although I attended Catholic school since I was in second grade,
Mhm.
and so I would say that I was influenced by the teachings of the nuns, but nevertheless, there were many students also attending a Catholic school. But for some reason, it was something innate in me that I wanted to do. And it certainly wasn't that my mom gave any example to me of faith or attending church, etc. It was something within me, and I feel that that was divine.
Absolutely, because I've known a lot of people that attended Catholic schools and walked away from the religion as a result, you know. So I felt the same way in reading your book. I thought, no, this was something you already had within you, you know, and maybe, you know, if you believe in past lives, certainly you might have had a past life. Or as my partner said when I was describing your book to him, he said, it sounds like an enlightened being who came to this world and said, what did I think I was doing here?
Oh,
Because it was such a shock, you know?
hmm, that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, it kind of makes sense. I mean, it came from someplace, as you say,
Mhm.
right? So, yeah, interesting. But it really propelled you forward in your healing, don't you think?
Absolutely. I don't see any of my religious experiences, even in the convent, although at times were challenging, I do see it as a part of my journey that provided inner healing
Absolutely.
and provided an opportunity for me to grow and to become the person that I am today.
Yeah. Yeah, it clearly gave you a wonderful foundation. I had to laugh about, well, chuckle about your first experience in the convent when with the clothes that you were having to wear. Oh
Yes.
my goodness. And the garter belt. Who wears a garter
Yes.
belt?
I didn't even know what a garter belt was. It was quite cumbersome to put that on every morning.
Especially if
And
it's hot.
yes, it was an experience. But I was 16 and what did I know? And this is just what you did,
Yeah. At least that's what
right?
that convent did. Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. For that time, 1986, it's not like it's the 40s or 50s. But nevertheless, that's what they did. So I just
That's
followed
what you did.
along. What did
Yeah.
I know?
And the relief when you got to the second convent and found, oh, we don't have to all dress like that, do we?
Correct. It was what I refer to as in the book as normal.
Yeah, exactly.
Normal underclothes and just a simple uniform, not all those layers.
Right, right. Keeping you pure and chaste, I'm sure.
Yes.
Uh-huh. So, what part of the book do you want to share with the listeners in terms of like the meaning for you to write that, or maybe even things you didn't write about that had to do with significant things in the book that you just feel, oh, I wished I would have put that in there.
Hmm. That's an interesting question because throughout the last several weeks, different little thoughts have come up that, oh, I didn't even mention this, right? I didn't
Yes.
mention this at all. And I think, well, why not? But I suppose because it didn't really come to my memory at that moment,
Mhm.
but things are coming to my memory now, so I'm just taking note. But in my book, the whole idea of my personal struggle with my sexuality is weaved throughout the entire book.
Yeah.
And within that weaving, I'm also telling a story of so many other experiences that I had, many which were positive, but also many that were negative.
Painful.
Yes. But one particular item that I do not mention at all, which I'm surprised that I didn't mention it, is also a struggle that I've had pretty much all my life. And that struggle has been with weight loss and body image And I have been so successful throughout my life in so many things. Like when I have a plan, I'm going to do this at work, I'm going to raise money, etc. It all comes to fruition and I get it done. But this is the one area in my life that, for lack of better words, I would say that I have continued to fail. I make progress and then I gain all the weight back, and it's been a real struggle for me. But yet, I don't talk about that in my memoir, and I'm not sure why.
Mm.
Although, through therapy sessions, there have been times where we have discussed the correlation between sexual abuse and weight or
Yeah,
body image.
right.
And so I'm surprised that I don't bring it up in my memoir because it's a real struggle. And I know that for others out there, it's also a real struggle.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I think about it every day.
That's just it. It is so much a part of who you are now, isn't it?
Mhm.
And it's hard because you don't want to think about it every day, and yet you're faced with it every day. And
Mhm.
it's a deeper emotional struggle that I think is reflecting now to you because of the healing you've done on the other levels. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's interesting, something that you shared the other night in your class
Hmm.
about, when we come to that realization of that truth. And like for me, it's it's finished. I have shared so much in my book, and I'm free, and now I can move on. And I know that I'm paraphrasing what you said. I'm not sure I got it correctly 100%, but um, there's like a freedom in having broken that silence.
Absolutely. And a
And
relief.
yes, and not just the silence about my sexuality, although that's huge, but so many other silences in there that perhaps without even my knowing it was keeping me trapped.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's exactly what it is. The body holds on to memories far longer than the rest of us. And I mean that, according to emotionally, mentally, spiritually, we can heal those things through a lot of different types of therapies, but the body still holds a memory in there someplace. And even if it's one cell that's holding on to it, that cell can have a very loud voice.
Mm,
And can be very controlling over our actions, our thoughts, our beliefs.
mm,
It's so fascinating to me.
mm.
So I'm sure you've done a lot of talk therapy and probably some other types of therapy too. Have you investigated any cellular level healing?
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, I was just
But
going to say that, but I thought, well, maybe you are. So
no, I've basically have spent many years in, if you want to call it, traditional therapy. Now, a particular therapist does work with constellations.
yep, yep, family
And
constellations.
so I've experienced constellations a couple times.
Yeah,
The
powerful stuff.
first time, honestly, I was a little bit skeptical.
Yeah.
The second time, I was a little bit more open.
Mhm.
But, I am open
Yeah.
to all that is available to heal the human soul.
Absolutely.
because I believe that God works through all of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I call source. And the reason I use the word source is because, well, I was using the word divine because to me that encompasses more of the essence of what
Mhm.
I feel the something greater than me is. Um, but when I was writing the book, The Hollow Bone of Healing, and I was using the word divine, I got so much pushback from people that I gave preview copies to. They said, don't do that. People are going to think you're a cult.
Mm.
Okay. So I started using the most neutral term I could find because knowing that, there's so many beliefs out there
Mm.
for whatever you call that source that's bigger than we are, right? And I didn't want to leave anybody out, but that seemed to be the most neutral one I could come up with.
Mm.
That
Makes sense.
interesting. Yeah. Can't please everybody though.
True.
Yeah. So, um, your book, I mean, there's just so much to it. It's kind of hard to know what to pinpoint, isn't it? Because I mean, it's a beautifully woven story of the richness of your life, even if it's rich in pain, but it's also rich in healing and acknowledgement and awareness and unconditional love and what is and what isn't unconditional love. I mean, it's a life journey that you have shared here. It's just there is so much to it. And I think the purpose in giving yourself that voice, it it wasn't it's not about shocking people with your life experiences. It's about saying, look, this is life and it doesn't we all go through our things, but it's how do you handle it that makes the difference in people's lives.
Mhm.
And I think that's what you have showed so eloquently because of your ways of giving back and your ways of sharing in the classroom and even becoming a nun temporarily, or whatever the term is for that novice, where you were contemplating it. Those were all possible solutions. And that's what was so beautiful. You were resilient, you never gave up.
Mm. Yeah, when I look back now, right, and I think about what I've been through,
Hmm.
and even while I was writing
Yeah,
the memoir, and as I was expressing those different experiences, I'm thinking, I went through that, I experienced that. How did I get through that?
exactly.
How am I here today?
Yes.
Uh, and I think I may have shared this with you. One of my students recently from 2008, I had her in fourth grade, and she wrote me a beautiful message a couple weeks ago on Facebook Messenger. And she expressed her gratitude for me and shared how a wonderful teacher I was, and she's never forgotten me. And then she went on to say, wow, I've I've read about your story and your struggle, and still you showed up every day. You showed up every day. So to hear that almost 20 years later from a fourth grader that I taught, it just really moves within my heart. But truly, my teaching, my profession, my giving to the students and to my colleagues and to my parents, that helped me
Hmm.
to continue moving forward. And
Absolutely.
even though I mentioned in the book that although I was struggling with my own sexuality, when I was in the classroom teaching or working on certain projects, I was all in. And that was my distraction from the pain that I was carrying inside of me.
Absolutely.
So I honestly feel that my calling to this teaching profession is divine. And for me, it's not only been a privilege, but an honor that I do not take for granted.
Mm.
It's been a gift, and I truly have had an amazing career. I really have.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have gotten a note like that from a student from 2008. Right?
Right. That was so special, and I've continued to receive messages even from parents.
Yeah.
One parent in particular said, "You had my two girls, Miss Rebon, and I'm so happy that you had them both." She said, "And I knew the first time that I met you. I knew." She knew that I was gay. I don't know how, but
Wow.
she did say she had or has an aunt, and her aunt was with her partner for years, and they had to keep it quiet. But she knew because my spirit, she said, was so kind and caring. And she said, somehow I knew. And now you have helped my girls because one of her girls is following her own journey.
Wow.
And I thought, wow, you know?
Even without words of coming out, it's your
Mhm.
essence, right?
Mhm.
It, what a powerful thing to say. I mean, really, because at that time you were still struggling with it, right? And so, but for your very essence and your struggle to help someone in the next generation just by observation, that's
Mhm.
powerful. You don't have to say a word, you just live it, right?
Yeah.
Whew.
And here, to hear that, I'm thinking, and oh my gosh, I've been so fearful all these years. Like, what will parents think? What
Right.
will my colleagues think? What will students think? Right? So,
Exactly.
and so to hear those words, she knew. Maybe many of them have known.
Yeah, maybe. And that's okay too.
Hmm.
I mean, because that's why you wrote the memoir. Because it's okay
Correct.
now. Yeah.
It's okay now.
What relief that must feel.
Yes. And again, I keep going back to your thought. And again, I'm not phrasing it correctly, but somehow I have released all of it, even parts of that memoir, which I have shared with my therapist and perhaps with a few close friends. But then there are other parts that I haven't shared and I do think have haunted me for decades.
Yeah.
In particular, the story about the nun in the second convent when I wasn't in the convent and I was just working at my elementary school, and the friendship that she and I had, and I was like 20 and she was like 35,
Yeah.
and no one has ever known about that
Right.
until now.
Wow.
It's in the memoir.
Yeah.
And I lived with that shame and guilt for so long. And there probably came a time, I'm sure, where I forgot about it. But as you said earlier, all those things stay somewhere in our body.
Mhm.
And I have voiced that. And perhaps my greatest fear, if you will, is those particular sisters, that particular order, which in the book I refer to as the Sisters of St. Francis de Sales,
Mhm.
that I was so close to until my late 20s, like 28, and I have loved dearly.
Mhm.
They have no idea that happened.
Wow.
And I've I've held on to that.
Mhm.
And as I share in the book, even after it happened, I buried it so deep
Mhm.
and I continued my relationship with those sisters, and they loved me. I mean, I went to Poland with them,
Yes.
and all that had transpired unbeknownst to them.
Yeah.
And what would have been their reaction?
Mm.
But now, if they read the memoir, they will know.
Mm.
So I think those were some things that I was holding on to, and I put it out there, and I believe that it continues to be my healing.
Mhm.
And now that I've put it out there, it's done.
Mm.
There's nothing more to hide. There's nothing more that I have to be silent about.
Right. So verbalizing is definitely cathartic, whether you're writing it or speaking it or both. Um, what can happen, and I mentioned cellular memory, so I'll just kind of share a little bit, but it's a record of all of our experiences. And we carry all of our experiences in our DNA, basically, our good ones, which don't bother us, and the painful ones that we stuff inside or didn't know how to deal with, so they're just hanging out there. And what happens with our cellular memory is it starts acting like a law of attraction. So when you have, and I love to give this example because it's just really clear to most people. If if you're a female who's been abused by a male, then even if you leave that relationship, if you're not healing it at the cellular level, you keep broadcasting that abuse out there and attracting more abusers. They may
Mm,
be more subtle at it, but there's it's like pheromones, they just pick it up. So if you're in an abusive relationship and you do heal on a cellular level, you are changing your law of attraction to attract kinder, nicer people into your life that
mm,
don't manipulate, don't abuse, aren't looking for someone to take advantage of. And so just leaving it, talking about it is one thing, but healing it at that cellular level. And I work
mm,
with angels to do that. So it's really easy because you don't have to relive anything in order
mm,
to allow for that healing. It happens gently, lovingly, without you reliving, and then you find that you're attracting different people and circumstances into your life. And it's so remarkable. It changes the pattern very quickly for you without
mm.
a lot of effort, without hard work, if that makes sense.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, yeah, I talk about it in the book, The Hollow Bone of Healing. And there's an exercise in there. There's 6 meditations with that too. And one of them is on what we call the time-space continuum, which is where stuff can be held. I mean, we can stick stuff anywhere in our bodies, but also in our energy field, just to, I don't want to think about it right now, just imagine yourself pushing it to the far ends of your energy field, because it's like, I can't deal with it.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that would be probably the next level of healing. I know you mentioned the layers of the onion, and that is so true. This is, when we're going through deep-seated stuff, we can't heal it all instantly because there's just too much. So you take a layer off and you sit with that and you go, okay, that felt better. Oh, but now I'm ready for this. And you take that layer off and, oh, that's much better, but there's still something more. So you just keep going until you feel complete.
I certainly believe that I am a work in progress.
Oh, aren't we
Okay.
all?
Yes, I believe that I have come a long way,
Oh, yes.
but have I arrived? I don't believe so. Do I still need work? I do.
Well, maybe we can rephrase that word. Because, we're never done. None of us are ever done. There isn't anybody walking this planet. Well, maybe Buddha if he's walking around, or the Dalai Lama, or maybe. But in the human form, we're human. We're never done learning, right? That's how I see life.
I see it that way too.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I just know that your readers are going to get so much benefit from this. And thank you so much for breaking your silence so that others have now permission to break theirs.
That is, again, my hope that the reader can find their voice. As the tagline says, you were never meant to be quiet. And there's healing and there's freedom in allowing that silence to shatter.
Yes, absolutely. The new beginnings. The butterfly emerges, the phoenix rises,
Mm,
and the journey continues.
yes,
Yes.
the journey continues.
Thank you so much for your interview today. I so appreciate you. And your book was very deeply moving. And thank you so much for writing it, having the courage to write it.
Thank you so much for, again, allowing me to have this conversation with you and to share with your listeners my story. And again, I hope that it will help whomever holds my memoir in their hands and reads it.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt it will help everybody who reads it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, listeners, whether you're listening live or listening on the archive, because I know you're walking away changed from this one. So we'll see you next time.